Barry Harris's Chromatic Scale Workout Part 13. So remember, always remember this. When you study anything, especially music, you're going to need the information, right? Or else you don't know what to practice. So I give you the information, or you could get it from someplace else, or, whatever. But you have to understand the information, right? Because the information is what you're going to practice. So then you got to put it into action. You got to repeat it a lot. Oh, you got to play it over and over again until you remember it, right? So in the case of Barry Harris's Chromatic Scale, I gave you the guidelines, and then we started practicing together, right? We would see if you could play the lines with me. And so you repeat this over and over again, and eventually it becomes easy. You start to hear it, you start to understand it, and by that point, it should start to show up in your playing. If it doesn't show up in your playing, you're not doing it enough. Or maybe you're not making a concerted effort to put it into your playing, right? So that's why, I did a gig the other day with my Japanese rock band. We play a lot of blues, right? So I looked at the video. It's like 2 hours long. And you hear Barry's chromatic stuff all over it, right? And it might be making my audience crazy. I don't know, because I do it so much. And even my band starts to laugh when I do it. If you look at that clip, you'll see that as soon as I play the chromatic stuff, the band starts laughing, And it's just because I'm trying to make an effort to play it as much as possible. And, and it's random, and it's in whatever key. And I just have to make an effort to do it. And it's a way of testing myself, right? I want to make sure that I can do it. And the more that I do that, the better I get at it. And then, if I was recording or something, if I was doing a record, I wouldn't do it that much. But this is just a gig. I'm just playing, and so I'm having fun, and I'm trying to play as much, of Barry stuff as I can, just to make sure that I can do it, right? And that it shows up naturally. Okay, so anyways, I look back at, and, I want to, point out a few different things that I do in the concert, and show how I mix it in with my normal blues guitar solo. So anyways, let's just look at a little bit at one song in particular right now. We'll do another one a little bit later, but let's just listen to this one song. So here's me playing the solo in a blues in A, okay?
Nothing wrong with me, baby, that T-bone shuffle won't cure.
So now there's one part in particular I want you to look at it, and it's this part. So now I just start off playing normal blues, right? I go like this. That's just like standard blues music right there. Now when the four chord comes up, I go like this. Okay, so again, like this. Okay, so now you can hear what I'm doing. I'm playing the Barry Harris chromatic scale on the 4 chord, right? On the 4 chord. So look, there's the D note. I shot right for the root, and I just went down the proper scale. D7 is the 5 chord in G major, so I just want to play a G major scale. I started right on the root of the D chord, right? Just for no other reason than just where I did it. So I went like this. Then I'm on the 1 chord again. All right, so now this lick shows up, I guess, and it's in Barry Harris chromatic scale workout 11, I think it is, because I did these descending lines using this particular scale pattern, right? So here's the scale pattern. This isn't a particularly jazzy sound, right, if you play it this way. But remember, using Barry's rules, we can turn any scale pattern we like into some great blues, or some great jazz vocabulary, right? So here's the scale. Now, according to the old guidelines, Barry told us that you put a chromatic passing tone between the whole steps. But look, between C and B, there's a half step, right? So the problem here is that if we don't remedy that half step problem, we just kept going between that B and the A note, there's a whole step, so we take the chromatic thing, right? It just turns into the chromatic scale. And that doesn't make any musical sense, really. But, because one of the main reasons why we don't really like that sound is because, look, 1 and the chromatic note's on the upbeat, 2 downbeat. That's where you want the scale tones. Now, this B note will be on the 1 and 2, the end, but that's all right. It's the chromatic notes we don't want on the downbeats. The scale tones can sort of go on the downbeats. 1 and 2 and, but after that, that chromatic note, passing note is going to be on the downbeat. 1 and 2 and 3. We don't want the chromatic note on the 3. And then if we keep going, the next scale tone, A, is going to be on the upbeat, where we don't want it, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 is another chromatic tone. So that screws the whole thing up. So the point really here is that you have to remedy that C and B thing so that the chromatic notes will fall on the upbeats, right? So how do you do that? According to Barry's guidelines, it would be, the original guidelines would be 1 and 2. And remember, we want to fix that C and B note thing. So, you know, by the old guidelines, we go back to the D note. And then everything will fall into place again. 1. Again, now we got another half step. We got to remedy it. Now all the chromatic passing tones are on the upbeat, and most of the scale tones are on the downbeat, right? So anyway, that's what we're looking for. But it doesn't have to, you don't have to remedy it by any one particular pattern. So in that phrase, instead of going, I went like this. That's perfectly fine. I like it because it's sixths, and, you know, blues has a lot of sixths in it anyways, so for me it sounds good. But it could be anything. You should have fun and try to figure out different ways. So I suggest that you take this thing that I'm doing right here in A, and for that D chord, you think of what other ways could you remedy that C B problem and the G F sharp problem. For instance, what if you went like this? What did I do there? Instead of going up like here, I went to a chromatic note below. That's fine. What if I went, instead of this, what if I went to the one like an octave below that D note? So it could be anything. Let's see what these sound like. Here's the chromatic one. What about that octave one? That's a nice sound too, right? This sounds great. So look, you can experiment. You can come up with as many different, of course you can mix them, right? I could like do the old guideline and then the sixth guideline if I wanted to. Okay, so that's how you want to sort of practice these things, okay? Next up, in the same song here, I do one of my favorites. So this one shows up in, let me think about this, maybe either Barry Harris's chromatic scale work at part 5, maybe, could be 6. Well, I'll look it up and I'll post it there. Okay. Anyway, so in this one, now I'm doing the chromatic thing on the 1 chord, not the 4 chord. Okay, so I go like this. I love this lick, man. I don't really know why. I just love the way it sounds so jazzy, and it sounds so good in the blues, for me anyways, okay? So what am I doing here? I go up and, now I'm using D major, right? Because it's F7, which we want F8 mixolydian, which is D major, right? Right? So I go up in F sharp minor 7, using this chromatic rules. Now, this C sharp, I do a pivot arpeggio. C sharp would be C sharp minor 7 flat 5, right? So it gives us the sound of A9. And I land on that note. And from this one, that's a A note. I just play A7 pivot arpeggio. Remember, pivot means the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th are below the root this time. That's F sharp. I do another F sharp minor 7 arpeggio, right? It's diatonic. Brings me to D. And here I just use Barry Harris's chromatic rules, and these are the standard rules. And I land on G, and I play a G major 7 arpeggio here. That's in the key, right? That's the 4, D, E, F. That's a 4 chord in G major and D major, right? I love this sound over A7. Why? It's like the sound, right? Here's G major 7 chord over an A basis. What does it do? It gives you the G would be what? The 7th, the flat 7 of A7. B is the 9th. D is the 4th, right? So it's like a sus sound. And F sharp is the 6th. So it's like a really big sounding sus chord. So here's the lick again. It's nice. And, you know, that sets up the 4 chord perfectly fine, okay? So anyway, now, you know, I think it was whatever the workout lesson that I did where it was called re-engineering licks. I suggest you do that all the time. I think we even re-engineered this lick. I think that's what we did. So in other words, you know, try the same thing from different chord tones or different scale tones. So I went. So what if we went up C major and just did the same exact thing using the same formula? It's nice. So you wonder if you find one lick that you really like, keep moving it through the scale, one scale tone at a time, using the formulas, the same exact formula, okay? So next up, we're switching to E, okay? So this is a whole different song. Let's listen to that. All right, so that's pretty cool, right? It's really fast, man. It's like that's about the limit of how fast I can play a blues. So, and I'm playing just all like crazy blues licks, right? This kind of thing. And then after a couple of times of that, I want to change it up. I want to, in my head, I'm going, I need to try the Barry Harris's chromatic scale right here and see if I can do it. But it's good. It's good because it changes sort of the contrast of the song, right? All of a sudden it makes this bright jazzy thing, right? Rather than this like dark, almost like rock and blues and country mixed up. So here's the lick. Listen. So this is the same thing that I did in that A thing, except on the 4 chord, right? Now I'm on the 1 chord, but it's almost the same lick. But remember, because it's E and it's on the first bar, I have 4 bars of E to play, or it was longer. So I did the same thing, starting on E, and do the same thing with the sixths, right? It's almost the same exact thing. get to this note, I go up whatever that diatonic arpeggio is. In this case, it's going to be G sharp minor 7 flat 5. That's going to give us the sound of E9. So here we go. Right? That's pretty cool. Again, you know, experiment with these and see if you can get them into your playing more, okay? So I'm going to leave it at that. And keep practicing these and believe in yourself. You know, I love it for this kind of music because I don't really ever see anybody doing it. This sound is not that unique if you were playing jazz. It would sound pretty normal if I was playing like a jazz tone and, using this technique. It wouldn't be that weird. Sounds like normal jazz. It sounds like old school jazz. But in the blues, it's pretty interesting. I love this in blues and funk because you don't hear that many people doing it, okay? You hear a lot of jazz guys doing it. You don't hear a lot of funk and blues players doing it. And that's why I think it's worthy of some serious examination, all right? So there you go. This is not going to be that long of a lesson, so I think you get the point. So get to it, and I'll see you on the next round. Goodbye.